David here with Figboot on Pens. Today I have for you a relatively new pen from Italix, which is the house brand of the UK retailer Mr. Pen. And that pen is the Italix Chaplain's Tankard. What I will do is go over the parts and features of the Chaplain's Tankard, discuss what I care for, what I don't care for. I'll show some measurements and some size comparisons and provide a writing sample. And stay tuned to learn how you can win this very pen courtesy of Mr. Pen, who provided this pen for review and for me to give it away to one of you. On a side note, this past weekend I had a bit of a pen sale. I decided to do some early spring cleaning on my collection and find some new homes for a number of pens that I didn't use as often as they deserve. I listed 43 pens for sale and all but 2 sold, so I'd have to call that a success. If you purchased a pen, everything has already been mailed, so your purchase should be arriving shortly. Some of you potentially have already received your packages by the time I post this review, but big thanks go out to everyone who made a purchase, and I hope you all enjoy your new pens. So, back to the pen at hand, the Italix Chaplain's Tankard. It arrives in this simple box. Some filling instructions are included on the underside of the top of the box, and in the box we have the pen, the Chaplain's Tankard. I like the name of Italix pens. They sound very British. It's typically like a person or a profession followed by an object or a thing. They have the deacon's doodle or the captain's commission or the freshman's notator. This pen is made from metal. I'm believing it's brass. It feels like the weight of brass rather than aluminum. Or, as they say in the UK, aluminium. I feel that the material matches the name. When I think of a tankard, I envision like a large, hefty drinking vessel made out of like pewter with a hinged cover. And this pen does have a little bit of heft to it, like one of those tankards. Let's start by taking a look at the cap. The top of the finial is flat with slightly rounded edges. Then we have a thin gold-plated clip band, which is integrated with the clip. The clip tapers down a bit and has a ball at the end. I do find this clip to be a bit on the stiff side. At times it could be a little tough to get this in a pocket or a carrying case. The cap angles up slightly up until about this point, and then it's straight for about the last 2 inches of the cap. And at the end of the cap there is a band laser etched with Italix. There is a small step down to the barrel, which is straight until about this point, where it slowly tapers down to a flat end. There is also a blind cap, and we'll talk more about that here in just a little bit. The cap screws off, and you know what? I can't describe these threads as smooth. They operate just fine. There's no cross-threading or anything like that. They're just rather tight. You kind of need to apply more effort than you feel you should in order to turn the cap. But once you've removed the cap, underneath we have a number 6 two-toned steel nib. On the nib, it's laser etched with Italix. And you can see this particular nib is a medium italic. Amazingly enough, this pen is available with 19 different steel nib options. I'll discuss price in just a bit, but the Chaplain's Tankard is at a price point where you can afford to experiment with the nibs. If you've always wanted to try an extra broad italic oblique left-footed nib, those are available. And then here's a look at the plastic feed. You'll see in the writing sample, but I really enjoyed this medium italic nib. I find it brings a great deal of effortless flair to my writing. The pen does post, but just barely. You kind of really need to push it on there in order for it to stay affixed. So I really wouldn't recommend using this pen posted, which is fine because I feel the cap does backweight the pen and throw off the balance rather significantly, so I like to use it unposted. The section is very slightly concave. While this pen isn't light, I do find it to be comfortable in the hand, and I don't find the threads to be sharp at all. When using this pen, my thumb tends to rest right on the threads, and I don't find that it impedes my grip at all. The Chaplain's Tankard is a cartridge converter pen. It does arrive with a standard international converter. With this pen being made from metal, eyedropping this pen would not be advisable. Now, I previously mentioned the blind cap. This pen is described as being what's called a bottom filler. Once you remove the blind cap, you have a little bit of a piston knob sticking out of here. The idea is that you can use the converter to fill up the pen without the need to remove the barrel. Now, the issue I have with this system is the portion you twist at the top here is just way too small. It's just way too small for me to grip comfortably. Now, when you remove the barrel, you can see that it's simply a plastic piece that's affixed to the end of the converter. I just wish this piece was a few millimeters longer so it would extend further from the end of the barrel. The Chaplain's Tankard retails for just a hair over $30 when you deal with conversion, and it's available exclusively through the UK-based retailer Mr. Pen. I'll put a link below in the notes so you can check out this pen on the Mr. Pen site. While I can't say that the looks of the pen are overly exciting, it does feel very solid. And like I said earlier, the medium metallic nib performs very well. So especially if you're looking to experiment with some interesting grinds, then you might want to check out this pen. Thanks go out again to Mr. Pen for providing this pen for review and for giveaway. In regard to the giveaway, in order to enter, you do need to be a subscriber to my channel, and then just leave a comment here on this video in YouTube. If you are a Patreon supporter, I greatly appreciate your support, and you can alternately leave a comment on that site for your entry. In regard to a comment topic, it's been a while since I've done a QA, so let me know what questions or topics you would like for me to cover. It could be pen related or non-pen related. The comment topic is just a suggestion and not required for entry. Okay, now for this pen, it's time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. So here we go with some size comparisons for the Italix Chaplain's Tankard. Here it is with a TWSBI Diamond 580. Then here it is with a Lamy All-Star. And then here it is with something that I've been sent recently, which is actually kind of interesting. This is a Laban skeleton pen, and I haven't even inked it up yet, but I do think that that's a rather interesting look to that pen. And that's what that one looks like in comparison. And in regard to some other pens, this is what it looks like with a Pilot Vanishing Point, and a Pilot Metropolitan, and a Pilot Prera. So here we go with the writing sample for the Italix Chaplain's Tankard. And this is a medium italic nib. And the ink that I'm using today is ST DuPont Royal Blue. This is what the ink looks like. It's kind of a lighter royal blue. I can't say that it's especially saturated, but it is rather similar to something like the Faber-Castell royal blue or even the Diplomat royal blue. This is the bottle that it comes in, which at first seems like it's rather short and how on earth you're going to get your nib in there. But with such a wide opening, it's almost like you lay your pen down flat like this and put it in at an angle in order to get the ink out. And it ends up working okay. So let's go on with the rest of the writing sample. Almost ran out of space there. And like I had mentioned before, this medium italic nib, pretty much with no effort, you can see that the downstrokes are going to be very thick and the side strokes are going to be very thin. And you're not going to get like lots of different line variation. You can put a little bit out of that, but that's not necessarily what an italic nib is for. And in regard to ink flow, that it's on the decent side, and you're really not going to want to use reverse writing with an italic nib. It isn't necessarily what it's meant for. It is a little bit more on the scratchier side. And in regard to some fast writing, the feed has no problems in keeping up whatsoever. So here we go. This is the Italix Chaplain's Tankard. Like I said, that it's a reasonably priced pen, and especially if you want to try out one of their 19 different grinds, it's a good and inexpensive way to try out something a little bit more exotic to see if it's something that meets your taste. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.